Now, page 4, credit where credit is due. The Trump administration is doing the right thing. It has decided to go over the heads of the liberal gatekeepers in the mainstream media and deliver a message directly to the American people. The White House is purchasing television ad time to run commercials that chronicle the 45th president's accomplishments to date. Now, this is similar to what Ronald Reagan did many years ago. Reagan purchased TV time to deliver messages directly to the American people, especially when there was a fight over legislation on Capitol Hill. That's how Reagan got his massive tax overhaul through the Democrat-controlled House. So what Trump is doing here is the right thing to do because the Democrat-controlled mainstream media are painting Trump's first 3 months in office as a failure. And the media received their talking points from the Democrat Party. In fact, the media's reporting on Trump is virtually word for word the partisan messaging, aka news releases, from the Democrat hacks like Senator Brian Schatz.
From the nominations of unqualified cabinet secretaries like Betsy DeVos.
Stop the tape. Betsy DeVos is eminently qualified for what she's doing. And by the way, one of the things she's doing is stripping down the department, which is what she should be doing because we don't need an education department on the national level. But the Democrats hate Betsy DeVos because of vouchers. They don't want to return control of public schools to parents. They are dead against that because, of course, then parents would necessarily have a say in the curriculum, a curriculum which they have hijacked many decades ago. And by the way, school vouchers, in my opinion, should be handled at the state and local level because that's where property taxes are collected, and more often than not, it is property taxes that fund public schools. It should not be done on the federal level. Not at all. That's redistribution of wealth. Roll tape.
And Scott Pruitt, the failed attempt.
Scott Pruitt, head of the EPA, hate him because he's doing the same thing. He's trying to dismantle the Obama EPA and stop the EPA from going in my backyard and looking at that pond and saying, that's a navigatable water. You cannot drain it. That's why they hate Pruitt. Roll tape.
At banning Muslim refugees from our country. This administration.
Okay, once and for all, Donald Trump is not trying to specifically ban Muslim refugees from this country. He is trying to protect this country from terrorists. And yes, most terrorists these days of the non-domestic variety and many of the domestic variety, but most of them probably turn out to be Muslim. But he is trying to ban people who are coming from countries and culture that harbor radical terrorists who want to destroy our way of life. Someday, somehow, these people in the Democrat Party, you would think they would come to grips with the reality, and some in the Republican for that matter, that Islam, the ideology, is radical and it runs counter to the United States Constitution. They are mutually exclusive. They cannot coexist, no matter how hard these people try and say they can. They cannot. Roll tape.
And this Congress have governed with cruelty and have broken every promise they made to the American people.
Stop the tape. I will tell you, I quasi-agree with this guy when it comes to the Congress and promises made on the campaign trail. This whole Obamacare repeal debacle is driving me nuts. They just need to have a clean repeal of Obamacare. You can have a sunset date out 1.5 years from now, and I say do it in August on Barack Obama's birthday. I think that's beautiful. So allow the Congress, allow the people time to absorb the fact that, yes, this thing's going away. And if there needs to be tweaks to the system along the way, fine, then Congress go back and tweak it. But just repeal the darn thing, please. And yes, keep your campaign promises, like don't fund Planned Parenthood. Remember that one? And we shouldn't be funding Obamacare. And yes, we should be funding the wall. Of course, we want to spend money on the larger illegal immigration problem, but why did we vote in the 2016 election if the Congress is just going to negate everything that Donald Trump and most of the Republican Party ran on? Can you explain that one to me? So, Democrat Party is the party of obstruction. It is the only political card they can play. Attack the president with the hopes of blocking key agenda items like the wall. In other words, the current Democrat Party has nothing to offer the American people except empty criticism and the same old worn-out talking points that cost Hillary Clinton the White House.